Please welcome Kate Borders, LPM, President of University Circle and past chair, IDA Board of Directors.
All right, good morning, everyone. How are we doing? So I am the immediate past chair of IDA, and together with my fellow past chairs, we have the very, very distinct honor of recognizing lifetime achievement. And I want to pause on that because how many of you have been in this industry for 10 years or less? 10 years or less? Okay, quite a few of you, 10 years or less. Are you thinking about your legacy? Are you thinking about what you're doing now that someday someone might talk about you? I hope that this portion of the program is an inspiration because we're going to be talking about all of you. You inspire us on a daily basis, but I have the privilege of talking about these two incredible women. IDA recognizes lifetime achievement for people who have done work not in one place, but in many places. Not in one sector, but kind of across the industry. And not for a few years, but for a great deal of time, decades in these cases. And I would be remiss if I didn't take this opportunity to share with you that in the 20 plus years of this award, last year was the first time a woman received it. So I'm going to just say that one more time. In 20 plus years, we did not have a female win this Lifetime Achievement Award until 2024. So when I say to you that it is an honor today to congratulate and celebrate two amazing women, it almost feels flippant to say that because it feels so much bigger than that. So let's get started. Jane Jenkins. I want to see her face. Jane Jenkins was a youngster in Charleston, and she loved looking at the architecture, the historic buildings, and she was a teacher a few years later when she saw a job opening for a historic preservation job. She didn't even really know what the job entailed, but she just thought it sounded interesting and she might pause teaching for a few years. Well, that job ended up being in the Main Street world. And so she stayed in that Main Street world for a while. And then she started running downtowns, I believe Denton, Texas. She spent a great stint in Boulder. And then, we got some Boulder shout outs. And then, of course, an extensive period of time, I believe 14 years in downtown Oklahoma City, where she ended her career and didn't retire. She retired. And after that, she started consulting, and full circle went right back to Charleston and helped them establish a business improvement district. And if you go down the Jane Jenkins rabbit hole, you can even find pictures of her volunteering on what appears to be the coldest day in the entire world in front of her local Salvation Army. She gives back in so many ways, and one of those is also this organization. So Jane served on the board. She was a past chair. And just 2 years ago, she won the Inspired Leaders Award on this stage, but in Vancouver. Jane, it is an honor.
Thank you, Kate. I almost even sitting down there was tearing up when you talked about how we're now recognizing women in the industry because, for so long it was male-dominated, and I was looking last night at the opening reception and looking at how diverse our group has become. And it's just amazing. And I'm going to give Dave Downey and IDA a lot of credit and the board members for that diversity because they've been working really, really hard on it, and it's really evident when you get among them. So thank you, David. I'd also like to thank Kate Jenkins, who's my fellow honoree today. Kate and I met in the Main Street program back in the 80s, probably before some of you were born. And I have always looked up to her and admired her leadership example, particularly in IDA. She served before me as the chair of the organization, and I always told her, when my time comes to be a past chair, I'm using you as an example. You're a great past chair who has stayed involved and made this place a better place, and we appreciate it. I'd also like to thank the board of directors and all that came before me. I'd like to thank Jennifer Nakayama in Oklahoma City for keeping the torch burning after I departed, because I may retired, but I still live there. So downtown is very important to me, and I appreciate all you're doing to keep that. And I did want to give a special shout out to my first downtown colleague and friend, Maggie Campbell, who's now in Arlington, Texas. Maggie and I met in 1986 when I left teaching to start what became a Main Street position. And we've been friends and kept up with each other ever since. And I have learned so much from her, and just the friendship and the peer sharing has just been amazing. I did spend some time this morning thinking about what a downtown is, because I can't get in front of a microphone and not try to do a few definitions. I'm still a teacher at heart, so and I came up with a couple of things. A downtown is a living narrative of a city, and Jaron and Chris both had remarks today that reflect that. It's where history and modernity stand side by side, and it's where the community, past, present, and future, converge to create one single vibrant pulse. And it's just, I know that our organization has expanded, and we do more than downtowns. There are districts, there are commercial corridors, there's lots of other types of work that we're trying to address, but downtown tells the story of your community. They're places of heritage and constant evolution. I think that's one of the things you have to realize. Kate mentioned that I was in Charleston, and I did kind of grow up with a love for historic preservation because of where I was. But when I got to go back to Charleston a couple of years ago, those buildings were still there, but the downtown has changed. It's not the same Charleston that I grew up in. It's a different Charleston, but it's a wonderful Charleston. It's the Charleston for now, and they're doing great things, and we just have to remember that these things evolve. And how many of you in downtown hear some people of advanced age in your community go, well, why don't we do it like blah, blah, blah? Why don't we do it like we had it in the 50s? Why don't we, Because downtowns are living, breathing things, and they evolve just like we do. I don't look like I did in 1986, which is really too bad, but I was actually going to kind of tell the story, my origin story of how I called it, but Kate shared it. Like I said, I decided to do this because I had never done anything but want to teach high school, and I kind of got to thinking, well, I was turning 30, maybe I should try to do something else, and so I applied for this job not knowing what it was, and it ended up being in the very first year of the Oklahoma Main Street program. And so I just said, I'm taking a break. I'm going to do this for a couple of years, see if I like it, and 40 years later, I'm still here. I do want to close with a quote from the great Jane Jenkins. I will tell you that there have been a couple of times where I have been introduced as Jane Jenkins, where people will mispronounce my last name. I would like to say that, boy, talk about setting an expectation. But this is it. Cities have the capability of providing something for everybody, but only because and only when cities are created by everybody. We don't often say that you have to be all things to all people, but I think cities have to be all things to all people. They have to suit the needs of the corporate executive and captains of industry that office in downtown, the office workers that eat their lunches in the park, and yes, the people that sleep on the street. We have to pay attention to all of the people that use our downtown. That is your job. And there are so many of you that are new, and it's been great to be here and see faces, both new and familiar. And I wish you all the best in your careers. And I want to thank IDA again for bestowing this honor upon me, because I did have the privilege of knowing many who before me have received it. And it is just an honor to be among them and an honor to be with you today. Thank you so much.